What's going on, guys? Ray Cabana here with another video here at Nerdy Cabana. I know what you're asking yourself right now. You're probably wondering how come I don't upload that many videos anymore, and the truth is that I do have an answer for you guys. But I will be giving it to you in a video update that I'm going to be doing for the channel. There's a couple of things that are going on right now, and there's a couple of changes that I want to make to the channel. But I will be discussing that in more depth in that update video that I'm talking to you guys about. Today, however, I decided to make a video response to Super Metal Dave 64's Was Nintendo Switch Metroid Prime 4 development an inexcusable disaster? Is a video that he uploaded pretty recently, and I wanted to respond to it because there's a couple of points that he makes right there that I really am wondering where he's getting from, and I just wanted to address them a little bit better through a video instead of me actually tagging him on a tweet or anything like that. For those of you who follow me on Twitter probably think that I actually do hate Dave because I have called him out so many times in so many things he said, but in all reality is that I don't have anything against Super Metal Dave 64 as a person. As a matter of fact, all the times that we have exchanged Twitter messages and even comments, he's always been a kind dude to me. But there's a lot of times that he does come out with certain things that it's just very hard to ignore and to pass out and not to call his attention on it. And while I'm at it, I also want to make clear that every time that I criticize and that I say certain things about a YouTuber, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's here in the channel or anything like that, that doesn't mean that I hate those YouTubers. That doesn't mean that I hate them as individuals, as human beings. I just feel that everybody have their own opinions on certain things, and when you do see something that is against your opinion, you do see something that you think it may be wrong, there's nothing wrong with expressing it, even though I do admit that I could always approach things better, and I was not doing a very good job as of late on Twitter. I did say, however, that I was going to approach things better, so if you came here to this video expecting me to bully Super Metal Dave 64, if you expected me to say trash about Super Metal Dave 64, you're not going to see me do that. You're not going to see me being a bully to Super Metal Dave 64. I don't want to do that. I don't want to create a Super Metal Dave 64 hate group. I don't want to do that. All I want to do is talk about the things that he addressed in his videos that I just don't agree with. With that out of the way, let's get rolling.
Worthy of the Metroid Prime name. I can't be upset with that at all. What I'm frustrated with Nintendo on is that they even let this happen in the first place. And I'm gonna say right now, I don't care what Retro Studios was working on, they have nothing to show for. So I don't care what excuses people make about, oh, maybe they weren't available to make Metroid Prime 4. I don't buy that at all. I think Nintendo could have easily used them to make this game since the beginning.
The display of behavior that you just witnessed is one of the main reasons why I tend to criticize and call out Super Metal Dave a whole lot. He really does believe that sometimes he is in the position of criticizing a company when he has little to no idea of what's going on within it. In this video, he is clearly criticizing Nintendo because he feels that the Metroid Prime development should have been handed it to Retro Studios rather than this new studio. He even go as far as saying that those who believe that Retro Studios could have been taking care of another project when the development of Metroid Prime 4 started are just basically talking excuses. I'm not gonna tell Super Metal Dave 64 to buy what he considers to be quote-unquote excuses, but at the same time I think it's a little bit unfair to call them excuses, especially when you have no idea what's going on within Nintendo and why they decided to not give the Metroid Prime 4 project to Retro to begin with.
And Retro Studios is a company that can make more than one game at a time. So I don't buy that aspect of them, oh, they were just too busy, they couldn't make Metroid Prime 4. No, I don't buy that.
I was able to do a little bit of research in LinkedIn, and I found out that Retro Studios can hire between 51 to 200 employees, and that right now they're standing in 132 employees. I don't know how accurate this is, but I thought I shared it with you guys. Now, regarding Dave, It's pretty much what I stated previously. You have no idea what's going on within Retro Studios. You have no idea what's going on within Nintendo. You have no idea how development works. For you to go out of your way and start saying that Retro Studios could have worked in two projects at the same time implies that you know what it takes to make a high quality game such as Metroid Prime 4, and you really don't. You don't know if a high quality game such as Metroid Prime 4 takes 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, 90% of the team. You don't know.
Completely over with the Retro Studios. We even had Reggie Fils-Aimé in an interview talk about Metroid Prime 4, I believe in early December. He said that the game was well in development, it was on track, and they were going to release it at a set time, and they had a very set plan on it. Of course, he could have been lying about the game.
Now, this is kind of a nitpick, but I still thought I addressed it, and that's the fact that I know that Super Metal Dave 64 has taken a lot of shots on Reggie in the past, and I don't judge him, because Reggie has not been the most honest person. Sometimes he does say a lot of truth, sometimes he doesn't. But at the end of the day, what you have to think about is the fact that Reggie Fils-Aimé is nothing more than a puppet of Nintendo of Japan. They are the ones who pretty much tell him what to say in certain interviews if he is asked about certain topics that they're not ready to talk about. So I know it's kind of a nitpick, but I thought I put it out there.
They did have quite a lot ready to go for that game to be shown soon, and then it just for some reason fell apart at the end and they decided to cancel it completely. They didn't like it. It probably ran bad, looked bad, whatever, played bad, wasn't fun, and they had to scrap it and give it to the people who knew what they were doing in the first place with Metroid Prime Retro Studios. So this all could have been avoided if Nintendo simply had done that in the first place. Since whatever Retro Studios has been working on, obviously there's nothing to show for it. So we don't know what that's all about.
You said it yourself. You don't know what that's all about. I personally don't know what that's all about. We don't know what that's all about. We don't know absolutely anything. Just because Retro Studios hasn't shown anything, hasn't shown a trailer of the game that they were working on, hasn't shown pictures, videos, hasn't made an announcement, that doesn't mean that they were not working on a game. That absolutely doesn't mean that. I'm not out here trying to affirm that Retro Studios was working on a game prior to Metroid Prime 4, but because I don't know anything like yourself, I have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
So it was a big mistake to hand over such a beloved franchise to a brand new startup team who had no idea what they were doing, and to say, hey, go and make Metroid Prime 4, you can do it. And from what it looks like, they were learning as they go, and they were trying to figure out what to do with the game as they went with development.
How are you getting to these conclusions? I don't understand how you're getting to these conclusions. How do you know it was a team that they were learning as they went through? Where are you getting this from? Like, what are you basing it off of? I don't get it.
Usually when a game is developed, they have, focused tests on what gameplay aspects will work, and they have a clear vision of what they're going to accomplish when the game is being developed. It looks like they were testing different things as they went. Oh, this didn't work, that didn't work, and then they simply just lost control of the project and just gave up on it. That cannot happen, guys, with a game of this Metroid Prime fans. The Metroid Prime fans are very vocal, very heartfelt, very deep into this project. They have a lot invested personally into this project, and they really want the game to be fantastic, and they really want the game in general, myself included. So for Nintendo to do something so stupid and to actually make a new development team internally just for this game of such a magnitude was a huge mistake.
You know what, Dave? You should be elected as the next Nintendo of America president. You really should, especially because you know so much about game development and you know so much about what's going on within a company when you actually don't know what's going on. You definitely should be the next Nintendo of America president. all jokes aside, you've been crapping on this new studio for the whole video. And honestly, you don't even understand why Nintendo even selected that studio to start the development on Metroid Prime 4. You don't even know. Maybe they saw potential in that studio. Maybe they thought the studio could do it. Maybe the studio showed them what they can do, but in the long run, they didn't know how to deal with the game. You simply don't know, and everything is possible. I find it completely unnecessary for you to go out of your way and insult Nintendo the way you did, because they are a company, and at the end of the day, they make mistakes as well. Sure, their mistakes do hurt us, but at the end of the day, I do feel like you are making the Metroid fans seem as if they're acting like rabid Wolverines, pissed about the fact that Nintendo delayed this game, when Nintendo themselves actually made a video and communicated us that they are going to take longer because the project has been completely scrapped and being handed to Retro. To me, it seems that you are the only one complaining, because I've seen a couple of people say, "Oh man, this is awful, this is not good. Oh man, now we're gonna get to play it later and not sooner." I've seen a couple of people like that, but the vast majority of people are actually not reacting negative to this and are actually praising Nintendo to coming up front and admitting that they want to deliver a great game. So there's no need for you to make the Metroid fans seem as if they're reacting certain ways when they're not.
You can't let this happen again, because this really looks bad to your fan base when you go and announce a game, get people all hyped up for it, and then you go and cancel it and restart it with a studio that the fans trusted and wanted you to do it in the first place.
It would have looked bad if they just randomly announced that they are scrapping Metroid Prime 4 and that they will restart it again and that's it. But they actually took the time to go ahead, make an apologetic video for us to understand what the situation was. And that's why most people are not reacting the way you are reacting.
Alright guys, you know me, I'm going to say what I feel, and that's exactly the truth and how I feel about the situation with Metroid Prime 4. So
no, Dave, that's not truth. If you feel that way, that's totally fine, whatever, but that's not truth. As a matter of fact, everything that I pointed out that you said in this video is not factual at all. It's just pretty much you pushing your feelings and your ideas as if they were facts. This is not the first time that you do it on YouTube, and you also do it on Twitter every now and then, which is why I'm always on top of you, criticizing and calling you out. Anyways guys, this is the end of the Super Metal Dave video. I really hope you enjoyed what I had to say. Tell me in the comment section, what do you think about Super Metal Dave's videos and some of the statements he made. I would really appreciate that. I just really dislike when people feel like they're in the position of going out and calling out companies when they have no idea of what's going on. If there was proof of what he was saying, if there was anything that we can go by with what he was saying that I addressed, that would have been fine. I would not be making this video, but he has no idea of what's going on. There is nothing that he knows of what he's talking about. So there you go. That's why I made this video. Anyways guys, thank you very much for your time. This is Ray Cabana wishing you a blessed one.